Welcome to this video in the Microsoft Copilot for Security course. My name is Albert Kirkpatrick, and I'm a Microsoft trainer. In this video, we'll explore what Microsoft Copilot for Security is, its use cases, and how it processes prompt requests. So what is Copilot for Security? Well, Microsoft Copilot for Security is an AI-powered, cloud-based security analysis tool. It enables analysts to respond to threats quickly, process signals at machine speed, and assess risk exposure more effectively. The key thing here is speed. Time is always against us when responding to threats. But by combining powerful large language models with a security-specific model for Microsoft and integrating them both with Microsoft and non-Microsoft sources, analysts are able to identify and respond to emerging threats more effectively. There are four big areas where this helps security analysts. One, summarization. Microsoft Copilot for Security can summarize complex security alerts into concise, actionable summaries. Two, impact analysis. It can assess the potential impact of security incidents and reduce response times. Three, can reverse engineer complex command line scripts into natural language explanations. And four, provide guided responses for incident response, including triage, investigation, containment, and remediation. So there are two ways in which we engage with Copilot for Security. The one we call the standalone experience, and the other we call the embedded. In the standalone experience, we can go directly to the Copilot URL, securitycopilot.microsoft.com, that you see here at the bottom of the screen. Users can interact with Copilot through a dedicated site. They make requests in natural language and receive responses as text, images, or documents. Here's an example of what that would look like. So this is the standalone site. The standalone site has its own unique prompt space where you can connect and you can type in prompts directly into Copilot for Security. It allows you to generate responses, allows you to generate incident information, it allows you to do all the things we talked about as those four big ideas associated with Copilot for Security. The embedded experience integrates Copilot's capabilities directly within the user interface of Microsoft security products. This gives you seamless access to Copilot features within the tools that you already use, like Defender XDR, for example. Here we can see an incident in Defender XDR, and the Copilot engine has already generated an incident summary for us. It has generated a guided response, and also has recommendations associated with what we have in the incident. This is embedded within the tool. We don't have to use a separate site for it, but if your Copilot for Security is onboarded, you'll have this experience directly within the tools you most commonly use. All right, so before we get too far down the road in this discussion, let's go over some basic terminology so we're all in agreement about what certain terms mean in the context of Copilot for Security. A session refers to a particular conversation within Copilot, while a prompt is a specific user statement or question within a session. Capabilities are functions Copilot uses to solve parts of a problem, and plugins are collections of capabilities by a particular resource. The orchestrator is Copilot's system for composing capabilities together to answer a user's prompt. And the prompt bar is going to be our mechanism for communicating directly with Copilot for Security. Microsoft Copilot for Security integrates with various sources through plugins, including Microsoft's own security products like Defender XDR. For example, the plugin for Microsoft Defender XDR supports capabilities such as analyzing a file, generating an incident report, and summarizing the security state of the device. These plugins and capabilities enable Copilot to provide comprehensive and contextualized responses to security-related prompts. In addition, we can extend this capability with third-party connections as well. But all of it goes back to fundamentally how we interface with Copilot for Security. And that means we need to understand how Copilot for Security processes our prompts. If you look at this workflow diagram, you'll see how Copilot for Security processes your prompts. It starts when a user submits a prompt in the prompt bar. The information is then sent to the Copilot backend orchestrator. The orchestrator determines the initial context and builds a plan using all the available capabilities. Once a plan is defined, Copilot executes it to gather the required data context to answer the prompt. It analyzes all data and patterns, including plugins and sources, to provide intelligent insights. Finally, Copilot combines all the data and context and uses its advanced language model to compose a response. It formats it and reviews it, and then sends it back to the user. To get the best results from Microsoft Copilot for Security, it's important to craft effective prompts. A good prompt should contain a specific goal, a context, expectations, and sources. A goal, for example, is the specific security-related information that we need. The context is why you need it. How are you going to use that information? The expectations, the format, the audience. How do you want the response tailored? And finally, is there some specific plugin, some known info, some data source that you want Security Copilot to use? You take all these elements together, and that creates an effective prompt. Be specific, but be concise. Recognize that you may have to go through more than one iteration based on previous prompts and responses. And always, always, always provide context to kind of narrow down where Copilot looks. Use positive instructions and directly address Copilot using conversational language like you, or thank you, or please, or can we. All these things are ways in which Copilot can effectively evaluate the information that you have. And they go a long way to creating effective prompts for Copilot for Security. All right? So let's do a quick knowledge check to see where we are. Make sure you're following along with this. A security analyst is crafting a prompt to investigate an incident involving the Pearl Sleet actor. Which prompt will likely yield the most comprehensive results? Can you give me information about Pearl Sleet activity, including a list of known indicators of compromise and tools, tactics, and procedures? Describe Pearl Sleet, list Pearl Sleet activities. I'll pause while you think about your answer. Yeah, the first one. Don't be afraid of being verbose, but don't be overly verbose. Now, that's a little bit of the art of crafting prompts. But the more information you give Copilot for Security, the more effectively it can respond to the prompts you use. In this video, we looked at what Copilot for Security is and compared the standalone experience with the embedded one. We went over the foundational terminology and went over some examples of plugins. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Microsoft Copilot for Security. Stay tuned for more insights and practical applications of this powerful tool. Until next time, stay secure.